So Arsenal remain 12 unbeaten, but our winning run is over. We've dropped points against Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. Welcome back to analysing Arsenal, and a second video of mine that we'll be doing two match reviews in one. Later in the video we're going to be reflecting on Arsenal's Europa League win against Sporting Lisbon. I didn't manage to do a match review on Thursday night. I was out celebrating a birthday. By the time I got back and watched the game back, I kind of just fell straight asleep. So I'm going to be covering my thoughts and feelings to Arsenal's 1-0 win over Sporting Lisbon at the end of the video, and we're also going to be looking at events at Selhurst Park in the Premier League as Crystal Palace took 2 points off the Gunners in a 2-2 draw this afternoon. But I want to start right at the very top of this video by saying that everybody here at DJ Bagpuss sends their thoughts and prayers to everybody involved in the Leicester City disaster that took place last night, and also I send my thoughts and prayers to Glenn Hoddle, who is currently fighting in hospital a sudden heart attack which he suffered yesterday morning. So, you know, football is a great game. We're all in love with the greatest game in the world, but when tragedy strikes in the sport, we all unite and come together, and everyone here at DJ Bagpuss sends their thoughts and prayers not only to Glenn Hoddle but also to Leicester City Football Club. Having said that, let's jump straight in to events here at Selhurst Park. And Arsenal have had 3 games in 6 days. It was going to be difficult. You know, we played Leicester City on Monday night in a very intense and quite a physical game, really, when you look at that game again. We then went over to Sporting on Thursday night in not the greatest spectacle, but got the job done courtesy of Danny Welbeck. It was always going to be a tall order, and it's the problem. When you play games on a Thursday night, then you have to then try to get the win on a Sunday. It's tough, it's difficult, and over the years we've seen Premier League teams that have been in the Europa League struggle to adapt to playing in the Sunday game. I mean, Chelsea played in the Europa League on Thursday night. They've now gone to Turf Moor and won 4-0. So sometimes it's not a problem, but also sometimes it can be difficult. And what I will say as well is that you've got to give Crystal Palace so much credit. Crystal Palace so much credit, because they were absolutely brilliant today. They dominated Arsenal through large parts of the game. And, you know, the reason why we've dropped points is not only because we weren't, you know, as sharp and as, you know, hungry as we have been in recent times, but also because Crystal Palace was so hungry and determined, and on many occasions were better than us. You know, they were better throughout the entirety of the first half, and despite the fact that we got the 2 goals in quick succession, Palace kicked on. They didn't allow us to kind of, what we did against Leicester is that we got ahead into the game and then we kind of kicked on and then just started to dominate. You know, Crystal Palace didn't allow us. It didn't allow us much time on the ball. They could sense and knew that we were dangerous going forward, and they didn't give us many opportunities. And, you know, they've got dangerous players. They've got Townsend, they've got Zaha, they've got Milovic, and also when you look at the goals, they are extremely controversial goals that were scored, you know, in many respects. Not just Crystal Palace's 2 penalties that they converted, but also, you know, one of Arsenal's goals, very, very controversial. We'll get into all of that in just a moment. And if we look at the team that Unai Emery picked out this afternoon, Petr Cech returns to the side. He's on the substitute bench, and the reason why I think Leno has gone ahead of Petr Cech is primarily due to the fact of Unai Emery wanting to get consistency into the team. He doesn't like change, and even though Leno has conceded a couple of goals here or there, you know, his overall play has been very, very good. So, you know, why would you want to get rid of him? I didn't touch on it on Monday night, and I was going to, but again, I kind of just, it just slipped my mind. When you do these match reviews, you just kind of speak about very spontaneous kind of things. And I was meant to say that in the later stages of Arsenal's 3-1 win over Leicester City, Granit Xhaka moved into a left-back role, and he was superb on Monday night. Today, even though he got the equaliser, I don't know, he's not pacey at all, and we've got a real problem because, you know, Kolasinac and Monreal are both out injured. Lichtsteiner did not great, you know, when he played left back. Even though he's a right back, he played a left back on Monday and it didn't really work. So, you know, Xhaka did a job for around 30 to 40 minutes against Leicester City, but he struggled today, and particularly Zaha and Townsend preyed on Xhaka. And, you know, if I was Roy, I would have gone into that dressing room and said, look, Xhaka is slow, he is going to have problems dealing with your pace, gang up on him, and they did just that. I don't think, I mean, Xhaka didn't perform badly today. He just was exposed on numerous occasions because he's playing in a position that he just doesn't play. He's not a left back, he's a midfielder. So, you know, sometimes you take a chance. I don't think it was the best decision by Unai Emery, but it worked on Monday night. It just didn't work today, and Lichtsteiner did come on for Bellerin. I'm pretty sure Bellerin must have got injured, because I don't think it was a tactical change. If it was going to be a tactical change, I would have taken Guendouzi off, put Xhaka in the midfield, and then put Lichtsteiner at left back. Obviously, there must be something a bit more, and there's a sole reason why Bellerin was taken off at half time. I don't know. I still don't know the extent of that. But Aubameyang and Lacazette starting. Maybe Aubameyang should have stayed on the bench. I know he scored again today, but I feel like he comes on and strikes fear into Premier League defences. I think if he'd come on, he could still be that impact player. Welbeck came on, Ramsey came on, and they didn't really impact the game in the same way that I think Aubameyang would have. But also, Palace was so resilient at the back that they just didn't allow Arsenal to have any sort of space. Mesut Ozil didn't really do enough. Again, he didn't really get much of a choice. And again, I might be a little bit harsh, but we weren't sharp, we weren't strong, we didn't really have that cutting edge that we've had in recent weeks. What we did have is we had a Crystal Palace side that were resilient, that were tough, and that when they went forward were dominating, really. I mean, there was a chance in the early stages of the first half that was an Arsenal-esque goal. It was just one touch play from Zaha into Van Aanholt, back into Zaha, then slipped it into Townsend, and Townsend, all he had to do was just fire it into the back of the net, and he hit it up and over. But we just didn't really get going in the first 45 minutes. We were very, static. We were stagnating. We weren't really driving. We didn't get really much of a chance to drive into Crystal Palace's penalty area. And they get a penalty right on the stroke of half-time. And it was a penalty. The first penalty that Crystal Palace scored definitely was a penalty. I have no idea. I cannot understand why Mustafi, as the corner comes in, Mustafi goes to ground. He's nowhere near the ball. Of course it's going to be a penalty. It was just an absolutely ridiculous decision. And, there are moments where, as a defender, you have to stand strong and stand your ground. If you fall to the floor, you're giving a striker a golden opportunity to go down, because they feel just a teeny tiniest bit of contact, they're going to go down like a sack of spuds. Admittedly, it was just a blatant penalty. I have no idea what Mustafi was thinking. I think Leno's positioning from the corner was poor as well. Milovic stepped up and he missed a penalty, or I don't know if they scored the penalty against Everton. They ended up losing the game anyway, but he had a chance last week, which either way, Palace didn't win the game. So the pressure on Milovic to get a penalty scored today was really, really high. You could see in his face how worried he was. He stepped up and he just stroked it calmly into the left-hand side of the goal. Leno went the other way and it was 1-0. And it's a recurrent theme as well. We start slowing games, and in the second half we kick on and we just rip teams to shreds. When we've scored 16 goals in the second half, not been leading in a first half Premier League game since Unai Emery has taken over, which is just absolutely crazy. And it seemed like history was going to repeat itself. Xhaka gets a free kick just after the second half gets underway. What an absolute rocket from Granit Xhaka. I mean, the keeper, Hennessy got a bit onto it, but he didn't get enough. And I don't think, any keeper could have got contact onto that. You ain't saving that shot. It was just an absolute rocket of a shot that Granit Xhaka lashed in. And then 5 minutes later, another controversial decision. Now, this goal for me shouldn't have stood. It was a definite handball. As that ball came in, Lacazette, he was saying that he was being pulled. His shirt was being pulled, and that's why his hand was up. But the hand wasn't near anywhere where the Crystal Palace defender was pulling. So it was a handball, in my opinion. It then stroked to Aubameyang, who slotted it in. Goal line technology had to be used to ensure that it went over the line, and it just about did. Very, very controversial goal, and I think it was a handball. I don't think it should have been given, but, I'm sitting here as an Arsenal fan. We're now leading. We don't deserve to be leading, but, what a fantastic, goal by Aubameyang. And in 5 minutes, we've turned the game on its head. And I then expected Arsenal to kick on, just like they did on Monday night against Leicester. And then again, once again, credit to Crystal Palace, because they stood up and they defended from the front. They didn't allow Arsenal any kind of time and space on the ball. And then they get a penalty once again. Now, this penalty, I don't think should have been given as a penalty. I think it was soft. It was Zaha being clever, and Xhaka just got a little bit of contact. Not a lot, a tiny little bit of contact. And yet, he's going to go down. And then it's another penalty, which Milovic steps up once again. And even though this time Leno went the right way, there was so much power and kind of precision on the penalty that no goalkeeper was going to save it. So you can make a case that one of Palace's goals shouldn't have counted and one of Arsenal's goals shouldn't have counted, but it still would have been 1-1. So probably in the end, a draw is fair. We didn't play well whatsoever today. We did not play well at all. But you've got to also give credit to Crystal Palace. They didn't allow Arsenal to play well because they were so resilient, they were so strong, and it was a fantastic home performance from Crystal Palace. And that is not an easy place to go and get wins. I know many teams have, and Palace haven't won a game at home this season, but that is still not an easy place to go. And in recent times, Arsenal have always struggled. Even though we've won 4 of the last 5 home games against Crystal Palace, we have struggled. I mean, I remember in April 2017, we got absolutely ripped apart by Crystal Palace by 3-0. You know, they are not an easy side, and you know, they have got players of strength, of power. They've got a player in Zaha who could win them a game on their own. And in the end, a draw was fair. But if you look at the stats, you could even say that Palace probably deserved to win the game. They had 16 shots, only 3 on target. Arsenal had 7 shots, 2 on target. They just didn't allow Arsenal to play whatsoever. And you know, yes, we are still unbeaten. Yes, it's a good point, but we've got Liverpool next. We've got Blackpool in the Carabao Cup in midweek, but we've got Liverpool coming up. And, you know, we didn't start quick today, and we haven't started quick in games in the Premier League. And we do that against Liverpool, we could find ourselves 2 to 3 goals down by half-time. And once you are that behind against a Liverpool side that are rampant at the moment, you're just gonna fall. You know, you're not gonna be able to get that back, and it's gonna be a good indication of where this Arsenal side are coming up against a big side. The big sides we've played so far, admittedly it was at the start of the season, but we lost both of them. Should have beaten Chelsea, got ripped apart by Manchester City. So, you know, we need to really be, from minute 1 to minute 90, at full throttle. We cannot afford to start, you know, slowly against Liverpool. We've got to match them. We've got to be faster. We've got to be more, you know, athletic. We've got to be hungrier than them. At the Emirates, we normally are, but it's going to be a very interesting game because, you know, that will be a big test for Arsenal. And, you know, I've been applauding them, you know, to go 11 games, you know, on the bounce, 11 wins in a row. I know now that run has come to an end. We're still unbeaten in 12 games in all competition. It's a fantastic, fantastic run, but we're going to be coming up against sides that are going to, you know, be top teams. And in recent years, the top sides, the top games, those are the games where Arsenal faltered and fell away. Now, the counter argument to this as well is that under Arsene Wenger, we also lost against the lesser sides. So we're not losing against the lesser sides now, but, you know, we've dropped points today. We've got to ensure, and 3 points against Liverpool will send a message out to all of the other Premier League big sides that this Arsenal side do mean business. Because at the minute, a lot of people are just saying, not getting carried away, and I am as well. Let's not get carried away. We've still got a lot of work to do. We're not good defensively. We are starting games too slowly. Going forward, we're an absolute joy when we get it right, but it isn't perfect. But what I will say is that you can't just be negative over Arsenal at this moment. They are in a fantastic run of form. But, as I said, we're not going to get carried away yet. And, you know, we didn't play great against Sporting on Thursday night. You know, it was a very, very kind of passive game. But, you know, in the end, Danny Welbeck came up and got, you know, a goal. So, you know, it looks like that we've already kind of, you know, we're 1 game away from winning our Europa League group. And, you know, I think for us, we can get into the top 4. But I think also the reason why Unai Emery is playing such strong sides in the Europa League, because A, it's a trophy, and B, I don't think he feels secure enough to just put all of his eggs into the Premier League basket. He's got another door to go through into the Champions League by winning the Europa League, something that we didn't do last year. So, you know, it's interesting. It's interesting. We're going to find out where this Arsenal side are with Liverpool next weekend. I want us to go all the way in the Carabao Cup, so the game against Blackpool Wednesday night is really, really big, although it is going to be, hopefully, an easy win for us to get back to winning ways. And, you know, like I said, you've just got to give Crystal Palace, you know, credit for what they did today. It was absolutely superb, and, you know, in the end, a draw seems fair, and if I was going to say one team who should have won today, it would be Arsenal. It would be Crystal Palace. I'm going to leave analysing Arsenal there for you guys. So I really hope you've enjoyed the video. Please let me know your thoughts, feelings, and everything like that down in the comment section below. Tweet me at DJBagpuss998. And until Wednesday night, which I will be doing a late match review on Wednesday night. But until then, and also I am going to be uploading a FIFA video, which should be coming out either tomorrow or Tuesday. So stay tuned, lots of great content heading your way. And until then, this is DJ Bagpuss signing out. Take care, and I shall see you all later. Take care, and I shall see you all very, very, very soon. See you Wednesday. Bye-bye.